We are officially top tier electric scooter influencers and YouTubers on the internet. We have got one of very, very few Daytona scooters from VoroMotors. This is the most hyped scooter of like the last 5 years. This thing goes 75 miles per hour. It's got DOT rated brakes. It's got little pegs in the back so you can do perfectly balanced wheelies. And it is definitely not street legal. My insurance policy lapsed yesterday because I knew I was getting this, and no, I'm not joking. This is the most exciting thing I've seen, just the box, in at least a year. I've been grinding reviewing scooters for 6 years with you guys, and we have never had anything even close to this. I think I test rode a Weephead once until the controller blew up, but even Weephead, Ryon, like all the Tronic scooters, they're 10, 15 grand. This thing is 3,600 bucks. Thank you to Melvin and the crew at VoroMotors for like designing and implementing and getting this thing in the United States somehow. I don't know who you bribed, but it worked. And I really want to get it out of the box. Let's roll the intro and quickly get this out of the box, plugged into a hypercharger, and I'll show you all around the scooter and we can see what makes it so amazing. Let's roll the intro and do that. Don't mind me, just... Oh my goodness, this thing is dangerous. I can't believe they just sell these to the general public. It's actually insanity. Like, no one needs this. But here it is, check it out. All right, so basically I'm kind of confused right now because I went so ham on this scooter in the last 24 hours. I filmed an unboxing video, I filmed a charging video, I filmed a maintenance video, I filmed a ride video, I filmed a video of me fixing the damages incurred during the ride video, and I think I'm just gonna go through and do like a best of highlights for the last 24 hours, show you the things I really like about the scooter, things I don't like about the scooter, show you the manual up close, like things that someone who wants to buy this scooter are gonna wanna know. I want to start the video with one quirk I found in the settings, and I don't know if this is like going to turn into something bigger, but you know, I'm just showing you my experience, what I found. So I went into the advanced settings, the battery information on the display, and I charged this scooter all night. The charger was green. I unplugged it, sat for an hour. I plugged it back in just to make sure it was extra super duper charged, and the charger stayed red for about another half hour. I unplugged it, and in the battery information, it says there's 35,000 milliamp hours, 35 amp hours. And this is supposed to be a 40 amp hour battery, so it's either completely wrong, the display, the programming, or there's a 35 amp hour battery in there, God forbid, or it has to do with the fact that the battery was in transportation mode when it was shipped to me and it needs to go through a full discharge and charge cycle. So I did just want to throw that out there right in the beginning. I don't know if it's going to turn into something bigger, but I will be doing a range test as the very next video for this scooter so we can see if it actually does charge up to 40 amp hours, if it takes 40 amp hours worth of juice. I've got the PID Zoom charge enhancer, and I've got all sorts of cool charging gadgets so we can track exactly how much power goes back into that battery when it's dead. All right, I'm gonna take a little breather, dial this video down a little bit, and we're gonna go through the manual page by page. You can skip this part if you want to, but if someone's gonna buy the scooter, or maybe 6 months down the road, someone's watching this video praying they find the user's manual that they lost, here it is for you, including an exploded parts diagram with every single little part labeled out. I'm definitely not trying to take credit for the parts diagram. I just am really impressed by it. VoroMotors did an excellent job on this manual. It's full color. It's got like 40 pages. It was written by someone who definitely speaks English. It's a very, very thorough manual. Probably the best one I've ever seen, actually. All right, well, I have you here. I guess we can watch the user manual go by while I explain to you what the unboxing experience was like. First of all, you should definitely open the box like it says in the manual, which is kind of like you put it in the manual, but the box is already open, obviously. But yeah, there's little flaps on the side, and you like pull the plastic flaps out and then lift the box up. You don't try and like manhandle it around your whole living room and then sweat all over the whole scooter. Yeah. So basically you just take the scooter out of the box. It's got really specific instructions for how to engage the folding mechanism, and there's little bags of screws with numbers on them. It even comes with a little case of tools, and it gives you step-by-step instructions how to set up the scooter. Everything makes perfect sense, except for a couple of the pictures in the manual are a little vague, like which little notch to put the latch piece in, and also where to screw the horn in. But My horn was touching the back of my headlight and it was muffling the horn, so I just had to kind of bend the bracket a little bit. Other than that, it was extremely straightforward, very easy, like stress-free. And inside the box, you'll find another smaller box, and that is the charger. You get one 84 volt 4 amp charger with a proprietary charge port. I hate that. So we're gonna have to rig up our own fast charger later. It also comes with a tool that the manual doesn't mention, which is sort of like a weird hexagon-y shape, and that is to use as a lever, or a little, like a big wrench, I guess, to tighten the folding mechanism hand crank. So you really want to crank that baby down, and it gets nice and tight, and the bars do not wiggle at all. The scooter was perfect out of the box. I couldn't have asked for a better scooter. It's just... granted, it did sustain a little bit of damage on the first ride, but that's just because I went full send on beast mode. But I'm gonna go over little fixes I had to do for the scooter after I rode it, and yeah, I just wanted to let you know it was extremely relaxing, straightforward, not hard at all. If one person can do it, no problem. So don't worry about it if this is your first time doing something like this. You got this. Okay, now that you've got some confidence and you've seen the user manual flash before your very eyes in its entirety, I want to talk about how to unlock the top speed mode. This is not in the manual, and it is very important considering if you don't do that, you basically just bought a giant eMove cruiser.
All right, so before we get into the nitty-gritties about this scooter and how it works, I want to show you the most important thing. I imagine if someone's watching this video 6 months down the line, this is probably what they're here for and they want to know. So let's go over how to unlock the top speed on the scooter. This is the bottom of the controller compartment in the back, what you would see if you're riding it. And you'll notice the big harnesses of wires coming out of the left and right controllers. And inside this little mesh area right here, you peel these away, there's a connector on the left and the right side. So it looks like this. It's got a red wire and a white wire. And when they're plugged in, that means you are locked. Speed locked to 15 miles per hour, which, I mean, it's still fun, but it's no Daytona. So we're gonna turn off the scooter and I'm gonna unplug these bad boys. And I will probably wrap these in electrical tape or shrink wrap, or like maybe tuck them back up inside here. But I wouldn't leave these unplugged, just hanging out. But now I'm speed unlocked, so I can go the maximum speed, which, you know, rumor has it, according to other YouTubers, is 75 plus.
All right, so that's it. You just unplugged 2 clips. You're fully speed unlocked. I just have to give you a word of warning. Be very careful, because the scooter wants to hurt you. And it also wants to hurt itself. It'll go so fast, it'll tear itself apart. But next up on today's action items is to go through the settings. You can get a sneak peek into all the settings and the cool advanced features the scooter has.
Okay, so, zooming out. Zooming out, okay. This is the top of our scooter, that's the screen, obviously. And this is our little control module, which is the same control module that is on the Highly Tiger Supra that I just got, by the way. Identical. So we're gonna tap the mode button twice, and that's gonna bring us into the settings. Dink. And to go up and down, you just click the plus and the minus. That's down, that's up, and then mode is select. It's much easier than a lot of other scooter displays, but you can choose the brightness level of the display, which for me is on 5 right now, surprisingly. The atmosphere lights, these are the lights on the 4 corners of the deck, and you can actually choose the color of them just by selecting, and you can scroll through. So let's say we wanted to be flowing. It's like different rainbow flowing colors. So you would just select that, and then you can have the lights be whatever you want, or you can turn them off, which is cool, because, you know, some people don't want them at all. They think they're stupid. I'm not one of those people, but I like a little LED here and there. So I'm gonna keep mine out there on cyan before I like that color. It's like a baby blue. Anyways, cruise control, you know what that is. Turn it on, and then you hold the throttle for 5 seconds while you're riding, and it'll activate. There's no manual cruise control on this where you would push a button to lock the cruise. It's just automatic, so you have to hold it at the same spot, and the computer will decide whether or not it's gonna turn on the cruise for you. But you have to have this setting on for that to happen. So, clock setting, obviously you're just setting the time, which is at the top there, 4:18 p.m. Advanced settings, this is where things get interesting. So you select this, and then the password, of course, is 6969 and classic Voro standard. And there. And this will bring you to the actual real settings. So power system, 72 volts, never change that. They say it'll affect the performance and can damage the scooter if you raise and lower it, which that's surprising to me. Usually it just affects the battery.
how much battery it says you have left. Imperial, so obviously I'm leaving that, so it's gonna tell me feet and miles and stuff like that, and miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour. Auto off, the scooter will turn off after a certain designated amount of time, 10 minutes being the maximum time. So you can just change that to whatever, or you can turn it off. But I'm leaving mine on 10 because it is nice when I forget about it and it just turns off. The range mode, this will measure the voltage of the pack and give you an estimated range based on how much voltage is left in the pack versus how much it thinks you should have when you're not riding it. And then you can change it to real time. And this will calculate the distance remaining or the percent battery remaining based on how fast you're riding in the moment. So if you're cruising 35 miles per hour, your real time range is gonna be a lot lower than your SOC range. Temp unit, this is obviously Celsius and Fahrenheit. This will tell you how hot your battery is getting, how hot your motors are when you go down to the information and the battery information. But obviously there's a power on password we can set so that you have to enter the password to start the scooter, kind of like there was for the advanced settings, but that's just to start the scooter at all. You can put on a password if you want. I doubt there's someone who actually knows how to turn it on in the first place because the power button is a little tricky to find. See the orange one? Yeah, not the first button I would have pushed. Anyway, I'm keeping power on password off. The information, this is pretty interesting, I guess. It tells you information about your trips. So max speed 26.7, average speed 2.9. And it's funny because I set this to Imperial, but it's still telling me kilometers per hour. So annoying much? It does say the motor temperature though in Fahrenheit, 96 and 93, which is really high considering I'm just sitting here doing nothing.
All right, so you got your scooter set up, you got everything all dialed, you got the settings set how you like them, you got your tires pumped up, you're ready to ride, things all charged. So I'm gonna bring you through my first ride. Obviously, I absolutely sent it. I'd been looking forward to this scooter for months. I had no problem flipping it into beast mode. It rips, it will pull, it wants to leave without you. And it'll go so hard, it will leave without itself. It just burns the tires into little chunks. Brake pads get all stuffed with tire. There's smoke everywhere. You can't see. It goes so fast you can barely breathe off the line. It's an absolutely incredible scooter. But like I just said, it will hurt itself. So you gotta be really careful. And one of the things I noticed while I was riding that actually did do a little bit of damage to the scooter is when you are going off curbs and you're pinning the throttle, the tires will spin up to full speed while the 1 or 2 seconds that they're in midair off the curb. And as soon as the tire hits the ground, it's got so much rotational mass that sudden stopping is enough to warp the disc brake. I actually shifted the tire on the rim a little bit by doing that and also warped my disc brake. So I had like floppy jalopy tires and a little bit of when I got home. I also had a whole bunch of loose bolts that were the cause of some creaking and squeaking. So I left happy as a clam, and I came back about an hour later, my brand new Daytona going. So yeah, took it inside, took a little nap, and then busted out my tools, and I'm gonna show you what I had to do to fix it, because that's what we're doing today. I'm sure every other YouTuber out there is saying it's great, it's a monster, it's a beast, it's agile, it's stable, the same run-of-the-mill crap. I'm gonna take it a step back. We're gonna get in the house. We're gonna be doing the stuff that you gotta do behind the scenes to make the scooter run that actually makes it fun. But if you're not into this kind of stuff, don't worry. You don't have to watch this whole video. You can just subscribe and then catch the next one. It'll be a lot more fun. It'll be a full ride video, full range test. We'll be doing ripping and dipping, and hopefully we can get that thing charged up to 40 amp hours afterwards. All right, so just a little warning, do not be creeped out by my voice. It was like 2 in the morning and it is now 9 in the morning, the day of the launch video. I should have the video out by now, but I have been up all night. I was just creeping around my house fixing my scooter because I took a nap and I woke up at like midnight, I think, and then I worked all night just kind of poking and prodding at the scooter, filming, so I could have some stuff to show you. VoroMotors, Melvin, this is your conscience speaking. I know it's 2 a.m. and I'm supposed to have this video out in like 4 hours, but is an affiliate about to take apart one of your flagship scooters? Maybe, no, but it's important, I think, right? Because people need to know how to take this apart. Mine got kind of borked on the first day, so maybe someone else's will. I'm just gonna show them really quickly how to access the brakes, the controllers, and like parts of the battery, and like the little nuts and bolts in there so we can tighten it up and we won't have to bug you, okay? Don't be mad. This is how you change your brakes. All right, so you've got your brakes, right? Ooh, DOT brakes. You wanna take a 5mm Allen wrench, take out that bolt, and you want to take out that bolt. It bolts the caliper and the mount to the frame. So it goes like this. Ta-da! DOT. And then you'll have your little doodad feeler bob here. You want to pull off this little clip, little tiny metal clip. See? Oh, and you lost it. And you're going to take, I think this is a size 3 Allen wrench, 3mm, and you just want to take this out. Sometimes though, when you take this out, the little clip will pop off by itself. Just like that. And then you push up from the bottom. Doobity doobity, hoobity jobbity. Bob's your uncle, it turns out. These are your brake pads, so you can do a little bit of maintenance on those. Y2908AT88, but you be the judge. What do you see? I see 2 boobs. Okay, you need counseling. Well, I guess that's normal. Anyway, you got your brake pads. These are your brake pads. If they're squeaking, if your brakes are squeaking or if they're scraping, take the pads off, take a little scrubby brush, some soap and water, and clean them off. Just clean them off, guy. They're probably gross. See, like mine has little bits of debris. That's actually tire. Yeah, that's pieces of tire in there. So that's not helping anything. That's why they're kind of all black and scrapey. But what I'm gonna do, since I've blasted through a gravel bed, you can see my rotor's all like chipped and got little dings all over it. I'm gonna take some really fine sandpaper, sand away all the burrs along the outside of the disc. I'm gonna clean these off with some soap and water, put it back together, and I'll bet you anything my brakes don't scrape and squeak anymore. But if you do have to replace your brake pads, this is how you do it. Just pull them off, take the old ones and go, you suck, throw them away, get the new ones. And then you want to take your little clippy dude. See clippy dude? Right there, just like that. And you want to take the other pad. These are nice pads, by the way. I think they're like, these are metallic brakes. Sweet. I was slamming on these today, and they still got a ton of pad left. Take your caliper, pinch the dude, slide him back down into his house. Make sure he stays pinched. And then when the holes in the top of the pad and this little clip thingy line up with the top of the caliper, then you put the little retaining pin back in. Make sure it slides through the pad, through both sides of the clip, and the other pad. Then you want to screw them back in. Like this. And you're going to take your little clip that you lost earlier. After you buy a new one, you're going to take the little clip that you lost. See this guy? Yeah, screw this guy. He's a retaining clip though, I feel like he's important. And you lost him again. Okay, so buy a third one. There he is. Okay, once you buy a third one, you're going to take the little open end of the clip. See how it looks like a goldfish? You're going to shove the goldfish's tail on the end of this little pin. So he looks like that. Okay, bada bing bada boom. You're going to slide this back on the rotor very carefully once it's all clean. And you're going to put your two big... And the very last step, you put your two big bolts back in and you'll be in service. So I'm going to clean mine now, but I hope you learned something. Alright, if you need to take off the top of the deck, maybe you need to tighten some bolts and access some of the bigger bolts that hold the frame together, well, here's where you start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts on top. I believe they're M3 or M4. They look like this. And you want to take off one bolt here, and you want to take off one bolt here. 2 on the edge of the white piece, and they're pretty small. They're smaller. They look like this. And then underneath the stickers. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. Are you following me? Underneath the stickers, there are 4 of these. They look like this. Basically, big long ones. But there's one here underneath the sticker. You can kind of feel around with your Allen wrench. And just poke until you find the little pea hole. And you stick your wrench in there. And there's one here. And there's one here, and then there's one back here. And once you take those 4 off, and you have the 2 off the top, you can just kind of go like this. Be careful though, because your lights, yeah, they're held in by wires. And they are plug-and-play connectors, right here. This plugs into the controller, and this other wire, this one, goes to the lights on the other side of the deck, the symmetrical ones. So you can unplug these pretty easily, it's not hard at all. But once you take this off, you will reveal 6 massive bolts in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 in the back. Hopefully you can see those. 1, 2, 3. And you want to make sure all those are tight, obviously. Also, once you take this off the side here, you can now access the bolts, which were only visible before from the top. Let me show you. So these bolts, you know those ones that you looked at and you go, I wonder how you get to those. Well, this is how. Yep, they're in there. Okay, well, the gimbal gave up, but they're in there. You can just stick a deep set 19mm socket in there, tighten them bad boys up. Well, 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 look what I found. I just took those 2 screws off with a little handle in the middle there, which I don't even think I needed to do. And we have the battery. Nice little handle on it, pretty cute. Some foam padding on top, very important. Does it say the size? Right there, it says Lion battery pack. How big are you? It says 39.4 amp hour, 73.8 volt. Interesting. Rated capacity 39.4 amp hour, 2900 watt hour. So I think that means the battery just needs to go through a full charge cycle. It was likely in some sort of transportation mode, and or the state of charge that gets saved in the computer is what the state of charge was when it got put away, basically, when it got stored or put in the storage mode. And the battery just has a little bit of phantom draw, so it's lower than it thinks it is. So I'll bet you if I drain it all the way with a range test and then charge it back up, then it will say 40 amp hours in the display. But there's only one way to find out. You just gotta pet the kitty. Hello. Hello, sir. He likes butt pats. Come here, sir. Oh, yeah, that's a good boy. He's helping. Are you helping? Yeah, he's helping. He's like, why are we not doing pets? I would like that. That's a good boy. Okay, back to work. Let's check if we got any fuses inside here. Nismo. We don't get on the battery pack. No. Bad. Yep, we got big fatty fuses in there. Oh no, those are just QS connectors, I think. Interesting, so we got big old fatty connectors down here, and we also got big old fatty connectors up in the controller box too. Let me see if I can tell exactly what kind they are. They look expensive. They are the same ones that go into the controller. They're QS8S anti-spark. Very nice. But I've seen all I need to see here. There's nothing revolutionary inside of it, this compartment. While you're inside here, you could carefully put a very little amount of green Loctite on the inside of these bolts. See those bolts right there? Those are basically just what's on the other side of these right here. So you can make sure those stay tight by putting Loctite on the inside as well. Oh, creepy. Okay, so yeah, that's what your battery pack looks like. You can pull it out with the little handle right here. Pretty neat. Just gonna make sure to disconnect that QS8S. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but at least they're not sharp like Cabo. Cabo had their wires just jammed right up against sharp edges and stuff inside the deck, so it's pressed, it's smushed, no doubt, but I don't think any bad is gonna come of it. And I do see red Loctite residue on the bottom of the tray there. They're not messing around with these bolts, but I put my own green Loctite just to be safe. It is about an hour later. It is 7 a.m. I should have this video out in 2 hours, but I'm still working on the scooter. I just spent about an hour, I guess, going through and tightening every single bolt that I had access to. So if I could touch it with a wrench, I tightened it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to open up the controller compartment, because I imagine that's a thing people are gonna have to do eventually. And it's not hard at all. You're just gonna take your size 3 wrench here, lefty-loosey, with 4 screws. Right, there we go. So yeah, these are your controllers. You got one here, you got one here. They're very long. I think they're for a moped. They have a red light and a white light on the bottom, on the top of them actually. Just a little bulb. See these? Interesting. But we've got one huge connector for each controller. Looks like 10 gauge wire. There is an unknown connection back here. Whatever this does, only God knows. It is a 2-pin connector. Oh, it's probably for the e-brake that they're not using for some reason. Maybe. Just a guess. There's another. You see that blue one in the back that has a number 18? I wonder what that is. But yeah, if you're in here and you got some extra zip ties, this would be a good time to take your little connectors that you had to disconnect for the speed limiter and just shove them in there. Put the cover back on. Doesn't look like there's any screws in here for me to tighten. Oh yeah, there are. In the top, the controllers are actually mounted with 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to tighten those, and then I'm going to call it good. Oh, those bad boys are already tight. Good as they should be. Make sure our horn's nice and tight on here still. And this whole controller box here, let's see if I can zoom out. This whole controller box is held in with 4 screws. There's 1 screw right here next to the horn, 1 screw over here, and then on the bottom, there's another screw under here, and then 1 under there. So top and bottom is holding the box in. Just go ahead and give those a nice little snug. Make sure those are nice and snug. Not tight, you don't want to strip the metal, that'd be bad. But just snug. And then if you have any doubts, you can put a green Loctite in there, and it will never rattle loose. Love that stuff. Okay, I think I'm all good. I'm gonna go ahead and finish sanding off my brakes and putting the brake pads back on, and I think my scooter will be brand new again. Except for this wire connector in the back. I'm kind of bummed out about that still. It came from the factory like this. Ugh, what a mess. I don't know how to fix that really. Something unique about the motor wire on this scooter though. Normally, it's just wire, you know, insulated wire. This feels like it has a sort of stiff plastic tube that the wires are going through. Either that, or the wires have become so hot that they're like actually melted into the shape of that. That now. They're actually melted into the shape of the insulation now. I don't know, but I doubt that. Love this scooter. It's very well built, and it's so ludicrously fast. All right, so we've gone over the buttons, we've gone over the settings, we've gone over the throttle, which is right here, or reverse thumb throttle. So you just point your finger. I like it. I like it a lot actually. I just wish this wire wasn't right here. And if you notice, they list error codes, and the first error code is throttle malfunction, and I imagine it's because it's going to be very common. Yeah, so if the insulation starts pulling out of this housing, it's not going to be great. And nothing else for me to go over, I don't think. We covered the hook for folding, the horn, the headlight, the controller compartment, the damper. If you ever have any wiggle in your steering bearings, what you're going to want to do is loosen this bolt and this bolt. They're on the sides right here. And then you can tighten this bolt. And then you want to tighten these 2 bolts again, because these 2 bolts are like putting pressure on this big, huge thing. So you loosen those, then you tighten that down, then you tighten these. And if there is any play in your steering, there shouldn't be, because there's red Loctite on that. I couldn't even get them loose, but if for whatever reason that happens to you, that's how you fix it. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I think I'm gonna wrap up my first video on the Daytona just with that. So if you enjoyed this and you found something valuable in here, which I'd be surprised if you didn't, make sure to subscribe. There's gonna be lots more videos on this scooter. And I think range test is coming up next, because I really want to test out and see if I can get that battery reader to go to 40,000 milliamp hours or not. So I'll see you guys next time.